perfect, and then we will just destroy game object. So that'll remove the enemy from the scene then. And that's perfect. But we want to add how. At the moment, there's no way to determine how his health is being taken away, and we'll very simply just add a tiny little function here. So we'll just public void give damage. We'll put an int, and we'll call this damage to give. Put our little curly brackets in. Oh, don't need that many. And basically, all this will do is this will be called from. For example, this will be called from the Ninja Star controller script. We're going to rewrite that in a second. And literally all it'll do is it'll take the current health and it'll say enemy health is minus damage to give. So however much damage you want to take away, that'll take away from the enemy. And that's it. That's all we have to add on to the enemy health manager. But that by itself at the moment, that won't do anything for us. It'll still do the exact same thing. We're still killing the enemy with the ninja stars and making the death effect and all that stuff. Although we haven't added it to the enemy yet, so that won't really show anything. Where's our enemy? We will add our enemy health manager. Perfect. So we'll give him 3 health, and we'll stick with 500 points when he's killed. But at the moment, that won't do anything. We'll still instantly kill him. See, because the ninja star at the moment is determining what is killing the enemy. So what we need to do is adapt our Ninja Star controller script slightly. So what we're going to do is, at this point here where it checks for the enemy, very simply, instead of all this stuff where it has to instantiate the thing, destroy the other object, add the points, we'll just comment that out for now, just in case if you want to stick with the same way of doing it, there's no point in deleting all the code. But what we're going to very simply add is other dot get component, not get type, other dot get component, and we're going to put the enemy health manager script in there. So it'll look for the enemy health manager on the enemy, and then within that it'll go to the give damage function, and then we'll pass in. Oh, we haven't added a variable. Actually, yes, that's one thing we're missing. We need to add a variable here. Public int, because we're using ints for the health, because you don't want them having 3.4 health. That's kind of awkward. So we'll go public int. We'll just call this damage to give. Just keep it nice and simple. So give damage to give. So that'll just add whatever damage you have on the Ninja Star controller to the enemy, and it'll slowly take away his health. So now if we pop back into the game, go to our Ninja Star here, once it's finished compiling down in the corner there, we'll scroll this down, here we go, damage to give, we'll just set that to 1, hit apply, and now when we play the game, he should take 3 hits before he dies. So he's walking there, 2, oh well, if you don't attach a death effect to the enemy, then you're going to encounter a problem like this where the whole game freezes. So I'll just flash forward to when the game stops being frozen. Okay, here we go. It's working again now. So we need to just go to our enemy, see we have our death effect here. We'll go to our prefabs and grab the death particle effect, pop that in there, and this time, once we hit him with our 3 ninja stars, as you can see, something was happening when we hit him with 3 stars last time. So now we'll go 1, 2, 3, bam, there we go, enemy destroyed. No need to worry about him anymore at all. The only problem now is though, so our enemy has some health, but our player is he's still getting instantly killed. And maybe we don't want him to be killed straight away by the enemies, because the enemy, he's not super violent, all he's doing is bumping into you. But we might want our spikes to stay instantly killing the player. So rather than rewriting our current kill player script that we have, we'll write an additional one that we're going to add to the enemy instead of the kill player script that we have attached to him. So we have the kill player script here. So what we're also going to do is create a little counter in the top up here to show how much health we have. So we'll go into our canvas here and we'll see we have our score title and our score counter. So we're just going to duplicate that score title, and we'll rename it as just health, if I can spell it properly, health title. We'll duplicate that again, and we'll call this one health counter. So now we grab the two of these, and we'll just, if we just zoom out up to them here, so we'll just grab that and pull that down to around about there, and we'll get our health counter. We want to align that to the right just like that, and there, perfect. So now, and we'll just add in, we'll just say 3, just so we can see roughly what it would look like. And we need to change the score here to say health. So score value will go up and our health value, that'll go down. Perfect. So now we need to go back to our scripts here, and we're going to add a new C# script and call this we'll just call it health manager, because this will be the main manager that we use for the player. So health manager, we're going to load that up in monodevelop, and we'll actually create another one here, which we'll come back to in a second. But in order to hurt the player, we need a special script that won't just kill him straight away. So we'll go for, instead of kill player, we will just say hurt player. Hurt player on contact, because we will probably have different ways that we want to hurt the player in the future. As sadistic as that sounds, as part of the fun of gaming. So yes. Now our health manager is going to be very similar actually to our score manager, which is here. It's going to use some of the same basic ideas that we had from that to show it up on the screen. So we'll just pop that beside here. So score manager, we're going to need the same. We're going to need a score, we're going to need a text like that. So we'll pop that in here. We won't, well, it won't be called score, but we'll call that, say, well, we'll need 2 variables here. Now that I think about it, we'll need this static one will be player health. So this will be the one that is being modified the whole time, and we'll need a value to reset when the player dies. So we'll need public int max player health. And perfect. So now so we have our text here, but you can see it's in red, and you have to remember that when we made our score manager, we added using Unity engine.ui, and that's to use any of the UI elements that are in Unity, like we said before. So we'll pop that back in here again. Also, we'll just save this, just convert it. We'll just save it just to make sure we're keeping track of things. We're also going to add the level manager in here, because we'll be using the level manager to respawn the player. And we're not going to make too much changes to the respawn the player behavior, but there will be a slight change we have to make. But that's okay. So we got a private level manager, and we'll just call this level manager, just so it's nice and easy to remember. So in our start function, we'll, much like we did with the score manager here, we'll do our text is get component. There we go. We'll set our player health equal to our max player health, and we'll also get our find our level manager in the scene. Level manager is equal to find objects of type level manager. So it'll look for the level manager in the scene, and it'll find it, and then it'll know which one it's interacting with. And much like we had with the enemy health manager, basically what we want in the object function is just for it to check and see if the player's health is less than 0. So if player health is less than or equal to 0, then what we're going to do is just call from the level manager dot respawn player. And that's all we'll need to do for that little bit. And also in our update, we want it to be telling the text object on the screen how much health the player has. So text dot text. So that'll look for the text component of the text object that we have right up here. So text dot text is equal to, we put these little things just to indicate that we're starting a string that will not have anything else in it apart from our player health. And if you didn't get this, it would throw up an error when you're trying to convert This is looking for a string of text, and if you just pass in this int value that we've set up here, then it'll go, oh no, there's something wrong here, I can't handle it. So what you do is just add these little quotation marks here to make it realize that it's making a string out of this collection of stuff that we've added there. Okay, so that's our basic of our player health, or our checking to see if our player has died. And we're going to need a couple of extra little functions. So we need a way for the player to get hurt. So we'll add a public static void. So this will be able to call from anywhere. Public static void hurt player. We need to make these capital letters. Hurt player, and this will need to take in a value as well. So int damage to give. We'll stick with that naming convention. Add our little squiggly brackets. And now, just in here, same as we did with the enemy health manager, is we player health minus equals damage to give. Perfect. And the one other thing that we're going to need is resetting the player's health back to full. So here we're just going to say public void